Now pleased to be joined on the call by the head coach at William and Mary, Mike London. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Rob.
Good morning. Happy homecoming in Williamsburg. 26-21 win over Elon to get to 4-0 on the year. What did you like most about the way your guys played?
Well, obviously behind again in the first half, came back out the second half and played extremely well, had an explosive third quarter. Again, the grit and the resiliency of this team just never ceases to amaze me. It's just one of those things that you wish you could start better. We got to start faster, but at the same time, players stepped up at different points, of the game and allowed us to really make some significant gains towards closing the gap, and then scoring, and then the last play, the fourth quarter. Last play, fourth down stop, kind of culminated everything for us. So, when you win your homecoming game, that's makes a lot of people happy. But I'm proud of the players' effort. It was a great crowd. It was the National Merrill Donor Program game. Tony and I are, Coach Christiani and I are on the board there, and it was just a lot of the things that went on there. Game was great, homecoming, but also the cause. But it was a good football game. My hat goes off to Elon. They are tough, athletic, fantastic, gritty team as well. And as you know, we talked about it before when Elon and William and Mary played the last several years. It's gone down to the end, and this was indicative of that.
Marty can't be on the call today, but sent a few questions. First, the key in your mind to the last two impressive comeback wins.
Well, I think down the stretch, being able to convert third downs, down the stretch, being able to make big stops defensively, down the stretch, the culmination of a guy getting a pass rush on the quarterback, making him throw, air underneath the ball, and a guy linebacker tipping the ball and the DB being there. So, it's just those things that towards the end of the game, end of half, end of games are situations in football games, but there are also situations that are critically important to you winning these games. And we've been fortunate, the home games at least, for those end of half, end of game scenarios to be in our favor.
His other question to talk about a few players who've emerged during the last few weeks, including Justin Kruger, who earned Rookie of the Week honors with a career high 7 tackles. Maybe talk about Justin and some of the other young guys that have really stepped up.
Yeah, Justin is a young defensive lineman. Has had an opportunity to play, and did a really good job with 7 tackles, a sack, pressures. Did a good job of providing presence in terms of the throwing lane, and did a good job running to the ball. And so when you have young talent, young players that are surrounded by a team that's kind of veteran led in terms of guys that have been in the program, but has moved himself in the position to be able to play and made significant reps, significant plays, and he's going to be one of our a really good player moving forward. But Coach Carter's done a great job coaching our young D line, and Justin's one of those guys.
You
And I would
mentioned
say, yeah, I would say that we talked about Trayvon Cannon, Speedy. Again, another game where true freshman starts at corner and is out there, and he's showing what he can do. And so there's players that have played, but there's also a lot of young players that we're playing now to get the opportunity to help us down the second half of the season here. And so those two they come to mind in terms of their production.
you mentioned the big touchdown before halftime to get some momentum going in the locker room. That was Devin Thompson on that one, and then he came out in the third quarter and made about as good a catch as you'd ever want to see on that 39-yarder. Just talk about the afternoon that he had.
Yeah, DT had a phenomenal day in terms of going up and the 50-50 catch. He had another catch down there. He didn't get in the end zone. He tried to drag the guy into the end zone, but he did a really great job of. He's got the length and size and athletic ability to go up and get it, and he demonstrated that, and it came at critical times. Again, end of half, one of them, and then as the game was going on, made another one. So he's a player that's really gotten good as he's been exposed to opportunities to go in the game, and we definitely need to utilize his skill set more.
Tyler Hughes had a incredibly efficient day for you, 19 to 25, and a couple of touchdowns. Did his usual stuff on the ground. But you also had Noah Brennick in there for a couple times, a couple series there in the second quarter, and it seemed like when Tyler got back in the game is when he seemed to have his best day, his best numbers. Did that time to take him out for a couple of series, do you think, lead to some of that and help him see the game for a minute?
I mean, yes, that the answer to that is yes, because I think, Coach October, the offensive coordinator, and then Brian Randall. I mean, sometimes quarterbacks have to perhaps just take a moment, come on the sideline, and look at the game as it unfolds. And Noah's been a selfless player that's gone in and been able to do some things. Tyler's recognized that, what he needed to do to improve and how the game is going, and has come back and played strong. I mean, their quarterback, was fantastic. I mean, he obviously he was a guy that that this conference knows about. But he had two touchdowns throwing, and he had a touchdown running the ball. Tyler had two touchdowns throwing and a touchdown, with a run. And they threw to six different receivers, and we were able to throw to 10 different receivers. And they had a turnover, and Tyler didn't. Another game we didn't have a turnover. Another game where we had three penalties. I believe they had 10. So being able to take care of the ball has been critically important for us. We were able to do that going down the stretch. And then, as they were 0 for 1 on fourth down, we were 1 for 1. So tough games like that. Like I said, Coach Trish has done a really good job with his team. Both of us, experienced the kickoff return for a touchdown versus Villanova. That was kind of the difference in those games. And when you're playing close games against really good teams, you have to minimize those types of mistakes and errors. But on Saturday, Tyler did a really good job on the second half of taking over things and have an explosive third quarter with 16 points, and and then holding on, defensively. That was the outcome.
Yeah, your defense, you mentioned Landon Clark's he's a tough guy to keep under control, but you guys had four sacks, Clayton Nobler with a couple of them, including that big one, as you mentioned, to sort of seal the victory. What were you able to do effectively to kind of keep him in check at least?
Well, as I said, he's a guy that's got, he can run it, he can throw it, and all those things. And the rush lanes, the secondary contain. You put a spy on him sometimes, but he's athletic enough to make the guy that's spying on him miss. But as we start going back and forth, and we start looking at who's out there producing, I think Tyler stepped up as well. And then I said I used the same stats here a moment ago in terms of what they both had, and then ultimately not turning the ball over, converting the fourth down, and things like that, and then distributing the ball to 10 different receivers. In our defense having that last opportunity with Dobler did a great job, and Stu Harrington was another guy that had sacks and pressures on the quarterback. So that's part of it. You got to play complementary football in all three phases, and I thought we did that. And that's important when you're playing a really good football team. So happy about the result, but here we go, CAA, getting ready to travel to go up and play a really good UNH team. So that's the way it goes.
When I talk about UNH, you mentioned all three phases. Be remiss not to talk about the impact Carter Boyd had with some of those punts, pinning Elon deep. Just talk about how that changed the game.
Yeah, he was outstanding. He's a young man that's very talented, and obviously, kicked a 59-yarder, but also selfless because you have opportunities to pooch punt, and then so the field position part of it, particularly the second half, on two opportunities that he had, plays made down there by Yolante Olohu and Robbie Garrison did a great job in terms of pinning the ball down there on the 5 yard line and inside the 20, which made them have to go to distance. And so, matter of fact, on one of those push punts, the defense we had them down there and resulted in an errant snap that went through the end zone on the third down called by the defense. So, the three phases work together when you get what you want, how you execute things. And Carter did a great job executing. Our gunners that went down there to spot the ball, they did a great job as well. And so the culmination of all those things, when you play football, when you're playing the game, they come to fruition and you see it happen out on the field in real time. So, but Carter's done a really good job for us, and hopefully he'll continue to keep doing things like that.
You mentioned the road trip this week to New Hampshire, a New Hampshire team coming off a win. What are some of the challenges they present for you up there?
Yeah, Coach Santos, very good Very good player. He played football with my son Brandon up there, so I know I've known him for a long time. Their quarterback Veza does a great job running the ball and throwing the ball. I mean, he's another guy that's got the skill set to throw it, and also they have runs that are for him. They got a great rushing guy, Miles Thompson. He does a great job downhill running, tough. They got a wide receiver, that goes up and gets the ball. So they've done a really good job taking what they do. They're tough, they're physical, they'll run the ball, but they'll throw the ball, and that's a positive thing. Defensively, I believe they're one of the top teams in points allowed. So it's going to be important for us to convert third downs, to have playable, makeable, second short situations. But they run around really well, and then their place kicker, phenomenal job. I mean, I think he's like 4 for 5 for kicks outside of beyond 50 yard. I mean, at the 50-yard line and above. So he does a great job. He kept him in the game this last game, and then they put points on the board the latter part of the game. But their place kicker he's special, and so I can see how they run the ball, be efficient, get him in a position where you want to score touchdowns. But if you can't, when you get beyond the 50, then you got a kicker that's got the distance. And so they got a really complete package. They do well, they play fast. It's a home game for them. We're traveling, and then if you're going to do anything in this conference, you got to be able to win games on the road. So this is an opportunity for us to go out there and be highly competitive.
All right, Mike, thanks as always for the time today. Safe travels to Durham, and we'll talk.